Hey everybody, what's going on? It's James here with Crypto Common Sense, and I have another trade tutorial video for you this evening. So this tutorial does apply to Bitcoin, obviously, or in all cryptocurrency trading. It applies to stocks, it applies to Forex, it applies to precious metals. All of this works exactly the same, and I'm going to walk you through probably the biggest reason that people fail at trading, and also walk you through why trading in its rawest form should be an easy career. It's not always an easy career. We're going to talk about why that is in this video, and we're also going to talk about how to overcome that. So before I jump into the content, please remember these videos do take a considerable amount of time and effort to produce. Help me out by hitting the thumbs up button, subscribing to the channel, and of course, you could always join the Patreon for just $7 a month. That goes a lot further in offering support and also gives you access to more frequent updates. So I shot a video very similar to this for my core trading course, and the whole point of the video is to really drive home the point of how easy trading should be. Let me walk through what I mean by that. If you look at any market, and if you didn't know anything about trading, and you never looked at a price chart, you didn't know how to read candlesticks, if you just flipped a coin and used a coin flip, heads for long, tails for short, you could probably achieve a 50% win rate, right? It's a 50-50 chance. You're going to be right or you're going to be wrong. But most people fail to win 50% of their trades. So that begs the question, why? If a coin flip is 50%, wouldn't you naturally win 50% of your trades just by guessing? Well, yes and no. The reason people don't win 50% of their trades is because when you're trading, you're not going for a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. When you're trying to win a trade, if you're following any type of trade system at all, you're probably going for at least 2-to-1. And because you're going for at least 2-to-1, you need the market to move further in your favor in order to record a win than it has to move against you to record a loss. And that's the reason that just guessing and not having any kind of system is probably not going to get you a 50% win rate. But there's something different about markets that gives you an edge over a regular coin flip. And the difference is we know that markets trend. That's how markets work. They're either in an uptrend, a downtrend, or they're ranging sideways. At all times, those are the only three options a market has: up, down, sideways. So if we see a market that's moving up, and we know that markets like to trend, if we automatically say we're only going along the uptrend, that gives us an edge over a coin flip because we know that statistically it should keep moving up more often than not. Same with a downtrend. Ranges, a little different because ranges can get pretty choppy. So let's just say that a trader with a so-so trade system, right, just a basic understanding of technical analysis, a basic understanding of trends, is able to achieve just 35% win rate. Now, I want you to stop and think about that for a second. That means that they're only winning a little over 1/3 of their trades. So every 3 trades that they take, they're winning just one single trade. Well, if you're using 2-to-1 risk reward, believe it or not, you're a badass trader. That's all it takes. You're doing great. If you're risking $100 per trade, that means you're going to make $200 when you're right. You're going to lose $100 when you're wrong. So after 100 trades, you're going to have 35 wins. Those wins are going to gross $7,000. You're going to have 65 losses, and those losses are going to lose $6,500. So after 100 trades, you'd be up $500, which is 5R, 5 times what you risked. So of course, if we change the risk to $1,000, that 500 becomes 5,000. Pretty simple stuff. So why am I showing you this? Well, number one, I'm showing you this because I want you to understand that trading doesn't have to be hard, and trading doesn't have to be scary. You know, the fear is what makes people avoid trades or close trades early because they're terrified that they're going to lose money. This trade's going to go against them. You know, and especially a lot of times people feel like you've got to win most of the time, 60, 70, 80% of the time in order to be a good trader. Well, that's terrifying. Unless you're a scalper, you're probably not going to win 80% of your trades. These are identical on the left and the right. So why do I have them both on here? because I'm about to show you the reason that people fail at trading. It's a very simple mistake to make. So let's say that this is trader A. They've been trading quite a while. They're slowly building up their portfolio and their account size, and they're consistently hitting this 5R. 5R, 5R, 5R. But let's say that trader B is maybe a little newer trader. They're what I would classify as a nervous Nelly, which is most traders. And so when they see a trade start to go their way and start to maybe sputter out just a little bit, they don't want to wait and have that trade go against them. So they go ahead and they close that trade just a little bit early. Sometimes maybe they're up $100 and they close it. Sometimes maybe they're up $50. Sometimes maybe it goes up $190 and then starts to pull back. Whatever the case is, after 100 trades, they find out that their average win has actually dropped from 200 down to 175. Now you might be thinking, well, it's only $25, James. It's not really that big of a deal. I want you to watch this box right here, $500 profit. By closing the trades early, just $25 early, they're now a losing trader. That's all it took. Except we all know that the way the human brain works naturally is you want to book the win as soon as possible so that you can get out of that anxiety-inducing position. But on the flip side, if you get into a losing trade, what most traders do is they simply move their stop loss. They don't want to accept the loss. They want to hold out hope that it's going to bounce back their way and that they can at the very least get out for even. So a lot of times what traders really do is they end up blowing up accounts because instead of losing $100, they might have $3,000 to trade with and they lose the whole $3,000 in one bad trade. But in this case, let's say this person doesn't go quite that, bonkers with it, and instead just, on average lets them run a little longer than what they should, and so their average loss instead of being $100 actually ends up being $125. Well, that means their true risk reward is not 2 to 1. Their true risk reward is actually 1.4. And guess what? Now this trader, the same trader taking the same exact trades as trader A, well, trader B is losing $2,000 a month simply because they closed their trades $25 too soon when they were up and they let them run $25 too far when they were down. This is why people fail. So there's 2 points to this video. Number one, most people don't ever stop and do the math. They don't ever realize that the only thing stopping them from being a profitable trader with a positive account size is the fact that they're closing trades too soon or not taking their stop losses. So several years ago, I saw the movie with Mel Gibson, The Patriot. And there was a scene in The Patriot where he was teaching his sons to shoot at people, unfortunately. And in this scene, he said, aim small, miss small. And I don't know why I've always remembered that. It always kind of stood out to me. But in trading, it's kind of similar. It's lose small, but win big. That's the whole concept. Lose small, win big. About 15 years ago, I played poker for a living online before they made it illegal in the United States. And the funny thing is, when you watch movies about poker, it always looks like fast-paced action, and they're involved in every hand, and they're playing against these other players, and they're looking for tells and all this stuff. The reality is that's not how poker was. In poker, I probably folded 90% of the time. I just folded. I got my cards. I played no limit hold'em. I get my 2 cards, look down, nope, that's shit, fold. Next hand, 2 cards, nope, that's crap, fold. Next hand, nope, don't like it, fold. I folded 90% of the time. I only played a hand when I was in the big blind, where you're getting in for free, right, if you're lucky. And when I say for free, you automatically have to ante up. Or when I was in the small blind, and it made sense to maybe, take a little bit of a risk. Or when I had a hand that I knew had a high probability of earning me money. And the funny thing about this is some of the worst losses I incurred in poker, they came when I was in the small blind. And the reason is simple. If you're in the small blind in poker, you've already put some money in the pot. And so it's like, I'll just throw a little more in there and I'll go ahead and play this hand. So a lot of times I would play a very crappy hand, like a so-so hand. Not a great hand, but not necessarily a crappy hand. Just kind of a so-so hand. And then I would get into these hands with this so-so hand, and they were the most difficult hands to play because you didn't really know how strong you were versus the other players. And those would end up being the hands that I lost the most money on. Trading is very much the same way. Most of the trades that ended up being really big losers for me were trades that I knew going in I probably shouldn't take. So many people are focused on learning the quote-unquote perfect trade system. You know, they're buying indicators for tons of money that are supposedly going to tell them exactly when to buy and sell. Well, I've got news for you. That doesn't matter. If you don't know how to manage the trade, even the best indicator in the world is not going to help you become a profitable trader. And not to mention, I've never once seen an indicator that was actually good enough to do that. You know, you have people trying to buy this indicators, you know, spending tons of money on it. Recently I've been asked about a specific piece of software several times by people, and I went and looked at it. Literally the same thing you can get for free on TradingView, but you know, they made it look pretty. So now they're selling this thing for like $100 a month, and people are just falling all over themselves to buy it. You know, you got people who are spending thousands and thousands of dollars, $5,000, $10,000 on super high ticket, you know, trading courses from gurus who've made millions trading. You know, they're going to teach you their system. You want a system? Look, I don't have a problem with people selling courses. I sell a course. I make money selling a course. I teach people to trade. I have no problem with it. But I'm also not going to sit and tell you that you can't be successful without my stuff. At the end of the day, if you want a system, if the market's going up, long it. If the market's going down, short it. It's really that freaking simple. Just knowing to do that, mixed with proper risk management and proper trade management, you're already ahead of 99% of the pack. The rest of that stuff is going to be about increasing profits and things like that. Now, if you're a brand new trader and like you don't know how to read a candlestick chart, or if you're a brand new trader and you don't know what a setup is, or you don't know how to, you know, price action trade, yes, courses are definitely going to help you. They're going to get you from a point of ignorance, right, which is not a bad thing. It's not an insult. They'll get you from a point of ignorance to a point of competence. But being competent won't make you profitable. It won't. There's a lot of people who are really competent, who are really good at TA, but they are terrible at trading. Because trading is not about being able to read a chart and have an idea of where price is going. You still have to put in the trade. You still got to manage that trade. You still have to stick to, okay, this is the profit target and this is my stop loss, and I'm going to let them execute no matter what. For most people, the best thing they can do when they get into a trade is to put their profit target in, put their stop loss in, and close the site, and not look again until the trade is over with. And you can do that. You can go to TradingView. So we'll take a look at NEO. This is the stock that I chose to trade today. It's the stock I trade most days, okay? So let's say that I got into this trade, which I did. So I got into this trade, and I'm a new trader, and I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to be nervous and accidentally close it early. Okay, so I get into the trade. I draw a ray at the top of this. I go in here. I set an alert. Boom. Only once, open-ended, right? Depends on your TradingView account, what options you have here. But you set the alert, you create it. Now, if that gets hit, you'll get an alert and you'll know that, hey, my trade closed for a profit, and you can go look for your next trade. At the same time, set another one down here, right? Same thing, set an alert. One of these is going to get hit, you're going to get an alert, and you're going to know, okay, now I can go look, I can find out how my trade worked, and I can look for my next trade. And that's it. For most people, micromanaging a trade is going to completely wreck them, right? They're going to close it early, they're going to move the stop loss, they're going to do any number of things that will take them from a winning trader into a losing trader. So again, this video is not specifically about the market conditions right now. It's not about Bitcoin. It's not about any specific stock. It's just about what it really takes to be a winning trader. And it's about how simple it really is if you will simply make a commitment to staying with your profit targets and staying with your stop losses and not micromanaging your trades. Again, the reality is very simple. If you're trading with a true 2-to-1 system, and you're winning 35% of your trades, then you would be netting 5R every 100 trades you take. And depending on whether you're day trading or swing trading, obviously 100 trades may be a lot or it may not be a lot, right? I've had days where I've taken over a dozen trades. I've had some days when I was scalping where I took dozens of trades. But for the most part, regular trading, you know, 60 to 90 trades a month is a pretty decent amount of trades for a day trader. So, and then it's just about scaling. Let's say that you are winning 5R and you're not happy with making $500 a month. Well, you know what? Next month, risk 110. If you're just still doing well, bump it up to 125. You just keep bumping it up. You just keep growing. The funny thing is people hear about professional traders and they hear about traders taking these big trades, risking tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. But you have to remember that almost nobody starts there. grow your account steadily, take on risk that you can handle. A good rule of thumb for risk is this, right? The general rule of thumb is 1 to 3% of your account per trade. I would go a step further and say that whatever that is, let's say that you have a $10,000 account, for example. Okay, well 3% would be $300. I would say whatever you're risking, make sure you're okay losing 10 times in a row. Because statistically, they've done studies on this. Statistically, most traders run into a bad patch where even trading correctly, they end up losing 10 trades in a row. So, if you're risking $300 on a $10,000 trade fund, that's not bad. But can you handle losing $3,000, because 300 times 10 is 3,000, and still trade your system and not break under the pressure and start doing stupid stuff? If you can't, bump it down. How about 2,000? Can't do that? Bump it down. How about 100, right? You're risking 1%. Can you stand losing $1,000, right? Losing 10 trades in a row for $100 each. The core to all this stuff is long-term profitability. We're not here to make a quick buck. Unless you get lucky and you make enough to retire, literally retire, then hey, by all means. All right, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It is, like I said, the cornerstone of trading. If you can figure this part out, everything else is much simpler. The trade system itself is probably the least important part of trading. The most important part is how you manage the trade and how you manage the money side of things. A lot of work and effort went into shooting and editing this video, so make sure you stop right now, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to join my Patreon for just $7 a month. You can find a link in the description. Don't forget, I'm just some guy sitting in a spare bedroom, which means that nothing in the video is financial advice. You should always go out and do your own due diligence and seek out professional financial advice from a licensed financial advisor before making any type of investment in cryptocurrency, the stock market, precious metals, or Forex. This is James with Crypto Common Sense reminding you to please trade safe.